Good morning, or at least it's morning for me when I'm recording. So this is Business Math Chapter 1, gross income for the whole chapter, and we're going to look at Lesson 1.1, straight time pay. So this is the first lesson in the book. One of the main things, and I repeat this on all of my videos, you should have your textbook open. You should have read through the lesson. Pay attention to any formulas they're giving you in there. Sometimes they're not on these worksheets that they give us. So we want to make sure we're paying attention to the textbook as well, not just going through the worksheets. The textbook will give you some examples that will help you walk through at least some of the more basic ones. They don't tend to go through the kind of more difficult ones, but they at least give you an idea of how to do these things. So all of these worksheets start off with this little blurb here at the top, which is basically a summary of the section. And then they'll give you a little formula here at the top. Again, not always. They don't always give you every formula that you're going to need. So make sure you're paying attention to that book. So some jobs pay a fixed amount of money for each hour you work. The hourly rate is the amount of money you can earn per hour. Straight time pay is the total amount of money you earn for a pay period at hourly rate. And then in order to calculate straight time pay, they tell us to multiply the hourly rate by the hours worked. So hourly rate is literally how much do you make per hour. Hour worked is how many hours did you work this week, or pay period. And we'll get in pay period as we move forward here, because it's not always on a weekly basis, if you didn't know that. So for this first one, I'm going to do the first one here, and then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to take a look at a couple of these other ones that tend to get a little bit, not necessarily more difficult. They just give it to you in a different way usually. So Pilar Perez is a truck driver, and I hope I her name right. $7.65 per hour. She worked 40 hours last week. What was her straight time pay? So great way to identify important information. Underline it. So I know she makes $17.65 per hour. I know she worked 40 hours last week. So I have her rate and I have her hours worked. All I have to do to find her straight time pay, because remember, you want to, what are they asking you? That's another important piece of information. You might do a different color, or double underline, or however you want to identify that. Make sure you know what's being asked. That's a big one. A lot of the time students will get almost to the answer, but they haven't fully paid attention to the question, so they don't actually get the answer. So make sure you're paying attention to that question. So we just want straight time pay. So we're going to multiply her hours, her pay rate, which is $17.65 for every hour, by how many hours she worked. And we get $706. So that's what she got during that week. Sorry, what she got. That was a silly way to say that. Okay, so let's take a look down here at one of these other ones. So the 2, 3, 4, it's going to be very, very similar. Just pay attention for hourly rate and hours worked. And then number 5 kind of does this little different thing, and I just want to go over it. I'm not necessarily going to solve it for you, but I'm just going to kind of go over it real quick. So what is the straight time pay for each of the following for a 40-hour week? So each one of these has a 40-hour week. It's telling us that. So we're going to do 40 hours in the equation for each, or in the formula. And then it goes locker room attendant, server, pantry help, host, and they give you this posting over here. So this is like a posting from a newspaper. They literally want you, to read through it and find out how much are they offering for a locker room attendant. So openings for a locker room attendant, men's, is $8.90 per hour. And then a server, so server necessarily just the next one. Make sure you're reading and paying attention, because I've had to go through the posting here, multiply one after the other and put them on the lines. All they have the right answers, they're not in the right places. So we weren't paying attention, or maybe we didn't understand the context behind them. But I'm thinking it's more that it just wasn't paying attention on that one for that situation. So make sure, if I want a locker room attendant, I'm getting the hourly rate for them. The next one is hosts. So that's the bottom here, hosts. And then a pantry help is the next one, I think. Oh, I missed servers. So servers was after hosts here. So we want to make sure that we're reading through here. do we really need to know where to eat resume? No, but they're making it look a little bit more realistic by putting some extra information in there. All right, so we're going to take a look at this one here that says algebra real quick. Sometimes these algebra can get a little bit more involved, and that's my fun way of saying they have quite a few steps. These ones really aren't too bad. Usually the algebra means you have to think about it. So Thomas Lopez is a computer technician. He earns $16.75 per hour. Last week he earned $636.50 straight time pay. Find the number of hours worked by Thomas last week. So we know how much he makes every hour, and we know how much he made total in straight time pay. We need to find the number of hours worked. So make sure you're paying attention to the question. So we have that formula up there. It's rate times hours equals, and I'm being a little lazy by shorthanding it here. So straight time pay equals rate times hours. And that was the formula that we had up top here. So here it is right here. Sorry, my cursor's still on that moving screen, but so it's the same one. I just reduced it down to some variables here to look at. So if I know his straight time pay is $36.50, I'm going to put that in for S. And if I know his hourly rate is $6.75, I'm going to put that in for R. What I want are his hours, right? So we're simply going to divide by the $6.75 so that we can kind of go backwards and find our missing piece here. So if I divide like this, then I will get 30 equals, because $636.50 divided by $16.75 is 38. And then $16.75 divided by $16.75 cancels, and H comes down. So this does look like the beginnings of algebra here. We're doing a single step equation, and we have to solve for our variable. So you're going to do exactly the same thing on number 8. All right. Well, I hope that helped, and I will see you in section 2.